And yeah, Sumi is from India, and today his topic is about striking a balance between problem and solution space in product development. So we also have provide some QR code at the bottom so that you can scan. This is to talk about PRISM 2025, and this year the theme is Bionic Age, which is also talking about human and AI, how they collaborate for more sustainable project success. So you can go through, you can take some time to screenshot this. I shall pass it back to Sumit to start the sessions.
Okay, thank you, Jane. And guys, I have a request. Keep your camera on because I'm able to see you guys. Otherwise, it looks very boring. It's more like that I talking to myself. So, morning, everyone. Thanks for the introduction, Jane. I can see a few familiar faces. I've seen you guys in my class also. So I'm not going to teach you something which you don't know. Again, you know it. The only thing is we are a little bit lost whenever we start to work on the deliverables. Now, see, whenever we start with any work in my trainings, when I talk to people that okay, how you actually do the work, they say, yeah, we actually got a requirements from the stakeholders and we start working on that. So I only ask one question to them that okay, what problem are you trying to solve? You won't believe that 90% of people, they are not able to connect to the problem itself. So is it like we are just working on the solution without knowing the problem? And if you don't know the problem, how you know your solution is actually a right solution? Or is it really difficult to understand the problem? I'm just going to talk a very little stuff. It's not going to take maybe more than 25 to 30 minutes. I'll just walk you through that, okay, how you can actually get connected to the problem and how you can leverage generative AI to understand the problem well. So let me share my screen now. You're able to see? Wonderful. Okay.
Yep.
So there's a topic that I'm going to talk about. We have already, Jane has already introduced me. My name is Sumeet. I'm a product consultant with Agilemania. I'm also a trainer. And this is the agenda quickly on understanding that why we need to understand the problem space, understanding between problem versus solution. I will take a very, interesting, a real world problem, which I usually face when I am in Malaysia. And then do we have any tools to explore the problem space? Are there any framework which can help you to, build a better product thinking around problem and solution? I don't know whether we'll be able to run an interactive poll or not, but yes, there are some interesting moments which require you guys to use Mentimeter. And I will also going to help you to understand that how we can leverage ChatGPT power or any generative AI power. Why do teams rush to solution? The moment somebody will give you a problem, you, without understanding the problem, we start to jump to the solution part. For example, I say, hey, I want to create an e-commerce platform. What do you think? What I should do? Now, without understanding that, Sumit, why? What product? For what purpose? Why you're not using the existing one? What unique value proposition you want to bring into your e-commerce? We'll start to come, hey, Sumit, let's have a login. Let's have a product search. Filter should be there. Checkout. Without understanding the problem, we jump to the solution. My question is, why do you think team rush towards solution without understanding the problem? And for that, I need your help. You can scan this barcode or you can go to your browser. It's menti.com. The moment you type menti.com, it will ask you for a code. You just need to type that code 59932949. I just want to understand from you guys that what is your thoughts on that. Let me present it. This is how it's going to be. Why do you think the teams rush to solutions without understanding the problem? I was expecting this. Deadline, tight timeline. Stakeholder expectations. Interesting. Oh, yes, assumptions. We often fall into assumptions. Maybe customer is looking for this kind of stuff. Being chased. I like that word, being chased. Because we are too keen to solve the problem immediately due to the deadlines. To meet the delivery deadlines. ADSF. Is it something of full form or is just like a... Okay. ASDFAS. Okay, thanks for that. I'm not going to comment on that. Reactive instead of being proactive. Interesting. I'll just wait for a few more seconds. If you're fast, we can beat our competitors. Okay. Time is money. Wanting to get earlier feedback from the solution shared. Not having a meeting to discuss the problem. Okay. Just hold on. Usually this is the reason why team often rush to provide a solution rather understanding the problem. Time pressure, all of you have actually mentioned. Solution obsession, yes, we already know what we have to build. We assume that, okay, what our customer already need, assumptions. Focus on delivery and discovery. There's a very good quote from Charles. A problem well stated is a problem half solved. Or if you are able to write the problem on a paper, people say that 70% of the problem is solved. But why we are not able to get connected to the problem? Because these are just excuses to me. Time pressure, solutions, assumptions. How long it's going to take for you guys to get connected to the problem? Let's understand what is the problem space and what is the solution space. Problem space is all about to understand what problem we are trying to solve and for who we are solving this problem. Solution is all about that what we have to build in order to solve the problem for people. So problem space often talk about your user needs, their pain point, context behavior, how you can actually do this. There are some user research activities that you can use. Personas are there, marketing personas, proto personas, empathy mapping. Design thinking is actually based on the problem space understanding. Solution is more about your features, technology, what you actually build in order to help your users use the product or to solve the problem. Now, question to you guys. Again, it's a mentee. If I ask you guys that where you spend more time, problem space or solution space, what is going to be your answer for that? So you go to Menti. This is the one. Menti.com. You can use a code on top 59932946 again. Which space do you spend more time? You got 14 responses, out of which 10 people are saying that they actually work towards solution space, and then 4, okay. You have 24 candidates right now. 17, okay. So it's quite clear that we often tend to get into the solution mode. Okay. Our case study. And it is a real life problem for me. Whenever I come to Malaysia, I don't cook, I have to rely on Grab food. Then what happened? I spend around 20 to 30 minutes browsing the menus on the Grab food and going through the reviews. But then I order the same biryani. What do you think? Am I hungry or I'm just bored? What do you think? I'm hungry or I'm just bored? And why I do that? You need not to tell me what is the solution for that. I want to understand why I do that. Very simple. Anyone who is able to relate to this? Yes, I know. So sometimes, you know what happened? I actually call my mentor that, okay, see, I want to eat something. Can you suggest me something? So he start asking me a question. Then he suggests me something. Then again, I come back and I search. Again, I end up ordering the same biryani. Okay. So why do users fall into this kind of behavior loop? That you go explore, but you end up doing the same thing. Again, a small poll for me. What do you think? Why do users fall into this behavior loop? Again, I'm having 4 options over there. You just need to select one of them. Is it like too many options are there? Is it lack of trust trying new things? Comfort of known items? Or what do you think? Can this be a poor UX decision support? "17. Comfort of known items, lack of trust, overwhelmed with the options, and only 1% selected poor UX design." Yeah, I know. GrabFood is having a very bad design, user experience. Okay. Endless options, infinite scrolling, and yet I just reorder what I always do. Decision fatigue. Is it that, okay, I can't take decisions? I'm having a lot of options, paradox of choices. Is it like emotional or functional triggers that actually do this for me? You know what sometimes happen? I want to try a new food, but then I get, oh, no, I think I should actually go with the Indian food only. I like that food. Emotional stuff. Routine versus exploration. Is my routine is to eat food or just to explore? And then product fragmentation from over optimization. This could be the reasons why people usually fall into that kind of behavior loop. But what's the real problem over here? What do you think? What is the actual problem? Again, this is the last 90 minutes. Okay, after that, I'm not going to ask you to go to the stuff again. What do you think? What is the real problem here? What problem Sumit is actually having? Why Sumit is not able to decide on food and end up selecting the same food again and again? Somebody actually treating me as a customer, correct? Oh, no recommendations. Okay. Because you're really just bored. Maybe. You always think that there's something better. No personalized suggestion. People do not have specific preference or any strong needs. Doesn't know what other options are there to his taste. No better options of product. You're not really hungry. Okay, that's an interesting one. I'm just hungry. Whatever works, as long as it solves the hunger part. Okay. Which is fine. Okay. Now the mental part is over. Now let's understand that, okay, how we can understand this behavior from a generative AI perspective. Okay, so let me come back to this part. Let's come over here. Now I'm having some prompts. Now, before I start, a question to you guys. How many of you actually use generative AI for your product management or project management work? By any chance, any one of you use that? You can do a thumbs up because you are keeping your camera off. I'm perfectly fine. You can raise your hand. Those are also fine. Any one of you use generative AI for project management work? Okay, I can see a few of you. Now, I'm not going to teach you how to use AI. It's a bot. and in order to interact with the bot, because it's having so much of information, it can help you to understand the challenges. To interact with the bot, they have given you a prompt, this particular stuff for the interaction with the bot. And whatever you actually do over here, commonly known as prompt engineering. Okay, so let's understand. So I written a prompt. Analyze this behavior. A user spend 20 minutes browsing food delivery apps, check multiple menus, read reviews, but always end up ordering the same dish. Identify the underlying problem and possible unmet needs only. So let's see what we get. So they say it might be a decision fatigue, too many options lead to cognitive overload, user defaults to the known choices, fear of disappointment, low trust in recommendations, comfort-seeking behavior, time-wasting guilt, possible unmet needs of a customer. Maybe curated and personalized suggestion. You guys actually did that suggestion, give suggestion to me. Confidence booster or trying new items, simplified decision path, social validation or real trends, gamified exploration. So now we understand that, okay, these could be the possible unmet needs of Sumit. And these are the underlying problems. So now we know a certain set of problems that a customer might be going through. Okay, fine. Then, can we run an experiment on this? Can I create a hypothesis to check this? I say create a hypothesis to solve this problem using a personalized recommendation engine. Okay. So it says that, okay, we believe by introducing personalized recommendation engine that suggests new dishes based on the user's past ordering behavior and current mood input. This is a case. User who frequently default to the familiar choices will be more likely to try new food items. How they will measure it? By increasing the percentage of first time dish. Supporting details. So I'm getting some inputs now. Now, it is just an experimentation. Can I start to work on the solutions? Maybe. Let's see. Suggest 3 creative product ideas to solve the food delivery dilemma and reduce the decision fatigue. So I'm trying to solve these problems now. Because I'm able to connect to the problem, now I need to solve this problem. Maybe I can actually put everything, or I can take one thing at a time. So I just say that, okay, for the decision fatigue, habitual users, I want 3 creative solutions. Let's say if you're getting a product idea or not. Now see, we are actually getting a product idea. Mood-based meal matchmaker. I like that. Okay. Then gamified exploring mode, spin and discover, clone my comfort. These are the possible solutions. So let's say, can I use a framework to explore this further? Because now I know what's the problem. Now we are getting to solution mode. So I got some ideas. Okay. Can I actually get deeper into that? Let's see. Suggest a few mapping frameworks. Now these mapping frameworks are nothing but which will actually help you to strategize around this product. Are there any? See, to better connect with the customer or better connect with the candidate behavior, they're giving me an option of empathy mapping. Okay. Jobs to be done framework. These are a few techniques that you can actually use to explore these solutions for a problem. Jobs to be done framework. Impact mapping is another structure. Opportunity solution tree. Maybe you might be hearing it. Few of the techniques you might be hearing it for the first time, because this is actually also a new thing for me. Opportunity solution tree. I don't know what exactly the opportunity solution tree is all about. But let's say we pick up jobs to be done framework. Okay, so I'll say let's explore this particular solution. I'll say mood-based matchmaker. So just a simple prompt again. Let's explore mood-based meal matchmaker further using jobs to be done framework. So it's telling me what's the core part. Emotional jobs, social. Now, all these are nothing but they are trying to connect with the customer. Sample jobs to be done statement. When I am feeling stressed and tired, I want to find a comforting meal quickly so I don't waste energy making another decision. Another one, jobs to be done. When I want to treat myself after a tough day, I want a meal that feels indulgent and satisfying. What is the desired outcome for this particular solution? Desired outcome is reduce decision time, increase variety in the orders, higher post-order satisfaction rate, increase the repeat user. This is nothing but an outcome that is related to a user now. This is the outcome what Sumit is expecting. Okay, so now these are more like product designs. You can actually think of these kind of features, and then you got an idea now. Now, can I actually start to build a product backlog around this? Maybe. Okay. Can you help define the requirements in user story format for this product? Or you can say, help define requirements. Let's say, are we getting a requirements for this? Now see, we started to get requirements. A very simple one. As a busy user who feels overwhelmed with the choices, I want to select my current mood before browsing the meal so that I can receive suggestions that match how I feel without overthinking. We started to get a requirements. Now, help create a detailed product backlog for this product. Now you're saying there's a time pressure. I'm saying there's no time pressure. Start to use the tools. If you understand what problem you're dealing with, you can always use generative AI, which will help generate a lot of ideas and can actually ease your workload. So see, we are getting the requirements. Now it's actually giving me all the options. Now all these are nothing but requirements. For this particular onboarding education, this could be a must, this could be a should. It's a Moscow model they are using. Now, if at all I want to create a MVP, can this tool help me to define an MVP also? Maybe. Let's say create a MVP for this product. The goal of MVP is this. Now see. So they say that these are the good points to start with. Out of scope, what we are not considering as a part of MVP. Success criteria also is defined. Now, can you please help create the detailed user stories with acceptance criteria for the MVP? Just create user stories with acceptance criteria only, because it's actually providing a lot of information. I don't want that information. I say only user stories for MVP with acceptance criteria. So here you go. So one by one, in detail, you're getting it. Now, Can I believe whatever is actually coming out from this particular stuff? Maybe yes, maybe no. Yes, for a reference, no, for the surety. Because this is just a tool which can actually give you a Kickstarter for your deliverables. But you cannot believe it blindly on this. Take this data, put it in the Jira. It can actually help you to create a Jira stuff also. Put it into Jira, go discuss this with your developers, and then try to understand what exactly we are trying to build in that particular product backlog or in that particular users. Make sense? Now, if at all you want to do a further, exploration on the problem for this particular user, you can always say, can you create, it's a just further, if at all you want to understand the problem statement, can you create an empathy map for the user who is facing this problem? I would like to understand the pain areas for the user for the food selection. Here we go. Now see, it will actually create a proper empathy map for you. So what user says, what user thinks, what user does, what user feels, pain area, decision fatigue, fear of regret, lack of trust, emotional disconnect, time waste, guilt, repetitive behavior. Okay, now can I create a persona out of it? Because user experience is there, you can actually use empathy map, personas, anything. Help create a proto persona for similar users. For similar users. Now see, proto persona also came. The behavior, goal, pain points. Another proto persona. Now, if at all you know that, okay, yes, you are actually dealing with this kind of personas, for that you really don't need to go at a ground level to do the research. You can always use generative AI because this is actually having an abundance of data for similar kind of personas. So it'll start to create, the pain points that what we have to deal with. It'll actually going to help you to connect with the problem statement. So this generative AI can help you to deal with the challenges that you mentioned around deadline stress, tight deadlines. So can I take this as an excuse? Maybe prior to this particular tool, this could have been one of the area that, okay, yes, because there are delivery deadlines, that's why we are not able to connect with the problem. What business is asking me to build, I'm building it. Because business must have done their due diligence, or they must have done a research that why they are building that particular feature or the product ideas. So similarly, if you'll go and ask your customer, hey customer, you have actually given me 100 requirements. Out of this 100 requirements, can you tell me which are the priority items for you? And you often get this answer, hey, everything is a priority. Hey, okay, tell me what are the value items? Everything is a value. Because our approach is always like that. And you yourselves mentioned that, okay, maybe customer don't know what exactly they want. So why we are actually going to them asking what they want? Why can't we change our approach? Why can't we ask them, okay, hey customer, we understand that you ask us to build 100 items, but help me understand what problem are we trying to solve with that? Now, if your customer is able to communicate their problem well, that, okay, yeah, this is actually the problem which I'm trying to deal with, maybe we really don't need to build all the 100 items. Maybe 50 of them will go by itself. So it's just an approach that before you jump into the solution, before you start to work on any features or stories or any other initiative, try to connect back to the problem, that why we are building it. Is it really required to build it? There's a principle in Agile Manifesto. Simplicity is art of maximizing the work not done is essential. Because we are never connected to the problem, we always end up building things which really not required. And then we always put a blame on the delivery deadlines. So that's what I was have to say. As I kept it very simple and small, the idea was not to give you that, okay, these are the techniques, these are the stuff. No, idea was stop thinking about solution for a moment. Step back. Try to understand the problem that you're trying to solve. If you're not able to connect to the problem, if you're not able to get to the people who can connect you to the problem, take that problem, leverage the AI models. Now, AI models, when you'll actually say that, okay, this is the work that we are trying to come up with, help me understand what problem we are trying to solve with that. You'll start to get some options. Pick up those options, go and sit with the customer or with the business. Hey, business, I have just done a little bit of research to understand the problem. I am actually thinking that this is a problem. Are you able to connect with the problem? Maybe you'll start to get more ideas about that. Make sense? Always, sometimes I get into an argument with my wife. So whenever I get into an argument with my wife, my question is simple. Hey, what do you want? Not a problem. What do you want? And she's never able to, tell me that, okay, what exactly she wants. She'll start throwing random stuff on me. But the moment I'll change my question, hey, help me understand what is your problem? What is bothering you? She come to the point. Customer always knows what are their challenges. Customer never know what exactly they want. Okay, I actually got a question in the chat. So Razak is telling, but how do we tie back these suggestions from AI to the real problem in life? Sometimes suggestions are a bit more theoretical and doesn't reflect to the real life. Razak, run experiments. When you say real life, I'm not going to put it into the real life in my actual personal life. Real life means corporate only, correct? That's what you're trying to say, Razak. If to get connected better with you. Razak, you there? Is it dropped out? No. So guys, if at all I have understood Razak's problem that, okay, how we can connect it back to the real life, I'm thinking a corporate one only. Run experiments. Create a hypothesis. Yes. So Razak, so create hypothesis. Try to devise a small experiments to validate your idea. Remember, I actually used that hypothesis-driven development. It was telling that, okay, we believe that some behavior is actually there. This behavior will change if we'll do some certain kind of action, and we'll measure that behavior with these parameters. That might help. I'm just opening up for the questions. Feel free to ask me questions, but my humble request is when you're actually having a question, just keep your camera on so that I can better connect with you guys. Anyone? Any questions, problems? Because I don't have any further material to, present or to share. Silence will be considered as a benefit of doubt in my favor, which means I've done a fantastic work. I'm a very positive guy. I'm never going to think that you guys have not understood anything. Thanks, Aris. Thanks, Siva. So any questions, doubts? And guys, whenever you're in a corporate life, just go and ask this question to your business that why we are doing it. And trust me, you will get the answer. We never ask this kind of question. So business always think that, okay, yeah, why we are actually doing the product. And slowly, what happened? We actually become a machine, 9 to 5. Feature factory. We actually end up creating a feature factory. Whatever is given to me, I'm doing it. Simple. Is it making sense? Is it solving a problem? Doesn't matter. We always end up developing a scope-based thinking. That for scope is given, I have to deliver the scope. We never ever going to get into the value part of that. Okay, most of the time management will ask us to stop talking about the problem and just focus on the Do I have an answer for that, Razak? I don't know. It's highly unlikely that, okay, if we'll go and ask the problem, and if people know what problem is that, they will always share that. Maybe when you actually go and ask that, okay, what problem are we trying to solve? They say, hey, no, go and do the work. It means they themselves don't know what is the problem. Why can't I spend some time, try to figure out the problem, take that problem to the business, discuss with them, get a common understanding that, okay, yes, let's have a common understanding that we have to solve this problem only. And if you get a common understanding on that, then trust me, you may find a better solutions. And sometimes user will start to be defensive when we ask them to define the problem clearly. Maybe the approach that we take, we might need to work on that approach. Sometimes my wife also gets angry when I say, what is your problem? Then she always shouts back at me. You always talk about problem, but you never do anything about the problem. Maybe, I don't know. How do we know we have asked enough? How do we uncover the assuming part? You need not to cover, uncover the assuming part. Remember, I actually just presented a proto persona and an empathy map. So if you go explore these techniques, you will understand that what exactly you are trying to ask from the customer. So there are some set of questions. Go frame those questions well, get the answer, make an empathy map, write it down. From that particular map, you will be able to create a trend that, okay, oh, what that customer is saying, what customer is hearing, what customer does, what customer do, what they feel. From that particular answer, you'll be able to connect back to their pain points. But I don't know how many of us we have actually explored those kind of techniques like empathy mapping or proto personas kind of stuff. There are research techniques, yes, Shiva. So there are research techniques, ethnographic studies are there. Go explore it a little bit. You just need to put some efforts. So once you'll understand those techniques, you will start to practice it. Once you'll start to practice it, you will understand what kind of questions or particular question you need to ask from your customer, which is minimal but sufficient for you to create an idea about the problem. Siva, you want to add something?
Yeah. So I think there's one part that I like it in the generative AI is also suggesting what MVP you can actually do. MVP itself is it's a good validation at the beginning, right? So it's suggesting that you do this MVP, and from that MVP you will be able to validate certain things, right? So, and yeah, I think he listed out a couple of things that you can actually validate through this MVP. So that's already a good point to start, right?
And one more thing, guys, MVP, if you will go and search about that, MVP is actually not a deliverable. MVP is always treated as an experimental technique. The biggest challenge is we end up, relating MVP to an actual release of the product. In fact, it is not. It's just a validation technique. In my, product run classes, I always take an example of automobile industries. You go to any automobile expo, they will actually present their futuristic cars. Do you think they've already set up an assembly line for that to manufacture that car? Maybe they've used the existing assembly line. They have actually made a modification in that. Those kind of auto expo cars are handmade cars, a minimal use of machinery. Because their machinery is actually an assembly line. It is actually going to produce a particular kind of shape, particular kind of, a structure. You are actually trying to change that shape, trying to change the structure for a newer, version of the cars. So it is handmade. Next time, if you get a chance to go to Auto Expo, on my request, go and talk to the person who is standing near to the car, ask them to start the car. They'll never start the car. Because the car was never meant for selling. Nothing is connected in that car. It is just a pieces they have put it together. No wiring, nothing you will see a connection over there. Maybe they just connect the battery to switch on the light. That's it. Try to put a key start, it will not start. Because it was never meant for release. It was just to get a feedback. It was just a validation of their design. Now what happened? They actually invite people for the reviews. Now, a lot of people actually give a reviews about the car. They say that, okay, looks like the shape is not good. Looks like the back seat is actually a little bit not comfortable. Or maybe they say the design of the lights are not good. They collect those feedbacks. That is why sometimes it happens that the car which is actually presented in Auto Expo, but when the actual car comes, it is entirely different from the one which is present in Auto Expo. Why? Because over a period of time, they collect so much of feedback and then they start to build the product. Then they start to set up an assembly line, because setting up assembly line is actually a millions of dollars of investment. So that I can call it as a MVP. And guys, one more thing, MVP is not a software industry concept. MVP was always an industrial concept. So it's also kind of an experimentation technique. You can actually think about that. But yes, corporate word MVP is often considered as a release. Can I do something about that? I really don't know. Make sense? More questions? You can take a little bit of learning from this particular section. First of all, try to keep things simple. Second thing, ask questions. Nothing wrong in asking questions, because asking questions will help you to connect with the problem. Once you understand the problem, then whatever you're building, try to map it back, that whatever I'm going to make into the product, is it really solving the problem? Maybe only the 20% of the scope will actually going to help you to deal with the problem. Then ask question why we are actually building a remaining 80%. For who? For what? That will help you to make your product simple. And simplicity is something which is a ultimate sophistication. That's what people say. If your product is simple, it will deliver a maximum value. I usually give an example of this also. I'm having an Apple pencil in my hand. I spent a huge amount of money on this product. Let's say around 600, 700 ringgits. People expect that, okay, it should have a 15, 20 features. Only 3 features. Why? Because the problem is that, okay, a person who is actually going to use this is actually going to calibrate with the device. Ease of use, correct? Only 3 features. One feature, Bluetooth connectivity, because it has to connect with the system. Second one, charging, magnetic charger. Third one, calibration with the iPad. That's it. It solves the problem. Somebody suggested, hey, why can't we have a timer over here? Now the question. Now stakeholder can tell you, hey, put a timer over here. Ask question to the stakeholder, hey, what problem are we trying to solve by putting a timer over here? No, if somebody can want to see a time quickly, they can. But it is actually attached with iPad always, correct? They can look at the iPad also. It is not like that, okay, you are actually going to keep this pencil into pocket and you have to walk. If you're keeping in the pocket, I can understand that. Take it out and then read. You'll always be having this pencil attached to your iPad. iPad is having a timer. Hey, let's put a battery health over here. Why? The moment you'll attach this pencil to the iPad, it will tell you that how much battery is left. Why you want it? So sometimes when you try to ask question back to the business, you will end up getting no answer, which is okay. Then tell them that, okay, if you don't have an answer, why we are building it? And if they have an answer, then we know what is the problem that we are actually trying to solve. As I mentioned in the start, we often end up with the solutioning mode only, without understanding why. Can we understand the why? Yes. How? Question the customer. Oh, we don't have access to the customer. Question to the business. Oh, business is not having a time. No problem. Use some techniques, generative AI, as I mentioned. It will help you to connect with the problem. Is that problem a real problem? I don't know. But now you got some reference. Previously, you were not having any idea. Now, at least you are having some idea. Pick that idea. Try to invest time with the business. Now, if you're going to the business that, okay, see, this is my understanding of problem. They can validate it. Once it is validated, now go back to your solution that, okay, is this solution really addressing this problem? If yes, go ahead and build it. If no, then change the solution. Clear? Okay, over to Jane.
Thank you so much, Sumit. It's very informative sessions. Okay, let me share my screen just to help those who have a PMI or PMP cert holder. If you would like to know how you're going to claim your PDU session, that you have attended these sessions, feel free to screenshot on this page that I've shared now. Okay. If you didn't manage to capture, no worries. Later on, we will send a thank you email, and also we will include all those information. Okay. So other than this, again, if you would like to meet Sumit in person, so we will have this PRISM 2025 at Penang. Feel free to share to the respective person to see if you can get some group promotion or some group bundle price when you join the conference, and it is HRD claimable. Okay, so take a picture, and if you not manage to capture anything, no worries, I will still share it in the email so that you don't miss any information. Okay, you can check the price, you can check who is the speaker. This year will be very exciting. There is a different tracks available, so feel free to go through the agenda, see any topic that can add value to your current situations. Okay, so if anything want to share now? No, then I think we are done. Thank you, everyone. I hope you have enjoyed the session as well.